Okay, so first and foremost, we've split this presentation in the marketing world into 3 segments: campaigns, measurement, and the big rocks. You'll see that they're all color coordinated for your ease of following.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Rule number 1.
Yes, so no content, no campaigns. Before I even start talking about this, I'll say that we are now in the big ideas and the gorillas and the fun, but I think this talk is a little bit about even before the life before that for the smaller companies and kind of just getting down to business, getting your hands dirty so you can be as efficient as you can in 2024.
Exactly.
But no content, no campaigns. So say planning now, writing the content now, being ready at the beginning of January to launch the campaigns, having different types of content, but kind of focusing on what that is before the year even starts. And I would even say start prepping for the next piece of content that you'll have in the next quarter, which is what we're doing now and we didn't do last year. But yes, it's about videos, blogs, nice piece, social, all the different channels. It's not enough to just have the one anymore, of course. So it's leveraging all channels and all the types of content.
Yep, absolutely. So you can see here, for example, it's not enough to just do one blog, one video, one ebook for your campaigns. You really need to have the variety and the quantity. So here you can see, for example, an ABM campaign we've done with Checkpoint. Jonathan, where are you? Right at the back. Hello. So here you can see for the ABM campaign, in order to kick off, we did have a series of blogs, a series of videos, a series of ebooks and ads, of course. You can't really do it anymore. The days of the single ebook and a couple of demo ads to bring in top of the funnel leads are long gone. And the companies who are disappointed by their digital efforts are the companies that really don't have enough content to feed the beast. Ehud is here from LinkedIn. He
Am I the beast in this?
No, of course not.
You're a nice beast.
You're the lovely beast. But he can testify, according to LinkedIn data, really, you need to have 8 to 12 touch points with your company. They need to see you 8 to 12 times before they'll even engage with you. So the more content that you prepare up front, the easier your life is going to be. Campaign rule number 2.
So no distribution mix. So even before that, I'll say about the content, building the funnel of content within, I guess it's for distribution. So you have the top of the funnel, the middle of the funnel, and the bottom of the funnel, and kind of distributing that content and knowing when it goes to which audience ahead of time. But yes, we have the beast here, but I will say, branching out to other channels as well, we found that Reddit and Twitter have generated opportunities and closed business at a much lower cost than LinkedIn have this year. A lot of people were in the cybersecurity space. Just a moment about Pantera. So with the automated security validation company, we allow companies to test their entire attack surface continuously, to make sure that they're ready and their defenses are ready against threats. So Reddit is a lot of our audience. It's not necessarily the decision makers, and I think a lot of people think that it's about community and it's all grungy and no one's going to click on ads, and they do, they're there. So that is one. Same with Twitter. So it is really branching out to a lot of different channels.
Yeah, I think that's another thing that over the past couple of years we're seeing, that in the past, clients would come to us and say, hey, we want to invest only in LinkedIn or only in Google. It doesn't work. The channels literally bounce off each other. Somebody will see you on through a LinkedIn ad or a blog post, and then they will come and see you on Google. And again, it's just, there's no single channel, there's no magic wand of just let's invest in this and it's going to work. And I'll go one step further. Even within LinkedIn, it isn't enough to just do one thing in LinkedIn. It used to be that you could just run demo ads. No, promote the blog, have the conversational ads, the spotlight ads. You need not the whole gamut, but at least 4 or 5 different tools within LinkedIn itself in order to see the results. Again, there's no one-trick pony, not within channels, not between the channels, and not within the channels themselves.
And I'll add, kind of like I said before, about when you gate the content, even within these platforms. So you'll start with something that is ungated and spread the word, and then you can add the gated content, maybe if it's more mid of the funnel and you want that intention, you want to capture the email in order to start a conversation, and then go into a demo request or have them kind of simultaneously, but really building that funnel with the different features and products that LinkedIn, for example, has.
My favorite. Your favorite. Go.
Front-loading our budget. In the end, we're all about creating revenue for the company. We want to show our business contribution. And I think that most of our sales cycles are at least 4 months, if not 6 months, if not 8 months, if not 18. So spending the budget at the beginning of the year so that we can make an impact on this year. That's where this is kind of what ours looks like, actually. We of course don't skip Q4. We do spend, and I'll say that Q3 looks like this because October specifically, although it's Q4, but October specifically is a very, very, very strong month as far as activity and industry activity goes. But putting a huge emphasis on the beginning of the two first quarters of the year. Yeah.
Yes, again, the number of conversations we have with clients that, hey, we have $20,000 or $30,000 per month to spend on paid channels, and we're like, no, let's not just spend $30,000 every single month. Let's really front load it. Yes, it's really, really key. If you want to close as many deals as possible in Q3, Q4, you need to spend the money and do the work in Q1 and Q2. Verticals. This is something that, again, many companies are scared. That's like, we don't want to focus just on one vertical or two verticals, but the more personalized and verticalized your content is, the better your reward is going to be, the ROI. And this is a campaign that Pantera did.
Yeah, so I'll say that Pantera is a company that can sell basically to any company above 250 employees that has computers. So we don't have to be vertical, and really just demo requests or leads come in from anywhere. So throughout, let's say, over 5 years that we've been in market, we never really focused, and it came to us. But at some point, okay, you want to start being efficient with your dollars. You want to start being efficient with making your sales cycle more efficient and tailoring everything. So we this year started our first vertical. This is after we chose manufacturing, after we did a kind of customer analysis to see where our shortest sales cycle, lowest churn, largest ASP, kind of pinpointing what that vertical is. It came out as manufacturing, but so this is where we started. I'll call this actually one of the bads, because it's not that it wasn't successful really, but because we didn't structure it properly, we couldn't really measure it either. We kind of started with, okay, there was our data sheet, we had a webinar, we have a case study, this is a video testimonial actually, and we spread it out and we reached out, but at some point we started adding more and more and more components. It didn't have an end, and at some point we were like, okay, but was it successful? We couldn't even tell ourselves if it was successful or not, because it never ended. Like, it didn't have that start, middle, and end. So that's one of our kind of takeaways. Well, you don't go out to a campaign without content, but also not without really building out that timeline that at some point that you can say, should we continue, should we not, was this successful, and what was the benchmark before? So we have a lot of manufacturing customers, but is it because of this campaign, or just because manufacturing is a good vertical for Pantera, which we established at the beginning? So I think that run properly, verticalization is very, very useful for companies that don't necessarily need it. If you're specific on verticals, then it's kind of easier in that sense. But this is kind of our, we call it verticalization in a box. This is what we go out with: a data sheet, a webinar, a case study. I add to this a few slides to the sales deck with the page for the specific industry, of course, and we call it like an intro of really what is the pain of that industry. It's more of an internal document, so sales can kind of really understand what the pain is and why Pantera is useful for them. Yeah.
I love this slide.
So this, yes, Billy does love this slide. I think, I don't know if it was the beginning of I think it was the beginning of 22. We kind of changed the way we report to management about our sources. We didn't talk at LinkedIn, Reddit, webinars, or a specific event anymore. We put it all in buckets. So we have paid digital, field events, SDR outbound, brand, which really, this is our point of our controversy. And this year we added channel and co-marketing. It used to be part of field. This year we divided it into two because we put more emphasis on our co-marketing efforts. But when we talk to management, this is what we present. This is it. We don't talk about how much specifically came from each channel anymore, because it's an effort, and everything contributes to everything, and we as marketers know that, but it takes time to build that. I will defend this because I think it's very important. We spend a lot of money on paid digital, and in the end, I do need to come to my CEO and say, this is what came from paid digital. There is a dark funnel, yes. We can't attribute everything. Yes, it's true. I think that as marketers, we need to feel comfortable to talk about attribution and also feel comfortable to say we can't attribute everything. And that's where this comes in. We have a how did you hear about us on our website? And that's where people fill in whatever they want. So sometimes they'll say LinkedIn, and that's great. Sometimes they say Reddit. Sometimes they just say ads, and I'll put it in there. But sometimes they'll say internet. So what's internet? Brand. Sometimes they'll say Gartner. Sometimes they'll say publications. They'll say word of mouth. They'll say peers. What is all of that? It's brand. It also gives me a way to show that I can spend more on brand, because brand brings in business, and the conversion rate on brand is higher than almost all of the other ones, because it's a brand. It's people who came ready to really buy. So that's how I defend this bucket that I love.
Why I think the bucket is obsolete. Everything we do is brand. Like, these 4 buckets do not exist without a brand. So trying to give it its own sort of like P&L, I think it's moot. I understand the justification, but no, I think that brand influences whether your channel partners can sell effectively. It influences when your SDR picks up the phone and they've heard about you, it's an easier sell. It influences, the digital marketing, how much money you're paying on the campaigns. And oh yes, I remember reading about them in LinkedIn. Now I'll go and speak to my friend about them. It's brand. It's all brand, so you can't segment it. But
shall I answer that?
Yes, quickly.
So yes, that is true. 2 things. One is that I think that we do need to justify our spend. So it is important to play those 2 roles and to say yes, everything is brand, but we need to show management and the board and whoever where we're spending our money and what comes from it. As much as we want to just brand and play around or whatever, but we need to justify it.
Yes.
So how do you measure it? So you're saying you're attributing certain leads to brand, but what are you showing in the number of converted leads driven by brand? Because that still seems lower funnel.
So on that one?
Yeah, what do you show your CEO in the context of that bucket of the brand?
The conversion rate from the leads that came in to that. It's in the end, it's our website, right?
It's still a very kind of lower funnel attribute to measure brand with. It's kind of a conservative.
Because brand is like top of, and this is a lot of that.
Yeah.
Yes. this is the only place where we show like direct from brand. Like it's not that, okay, we do a PR and then we expect demo requests to come in. That's not the discussion. But when we take this apart and someone asks, what is brand? And I can say brand is word of mouth. Brand is when people don't remember where they heard about us and they just write internet. I have like a source of to make brand more tangible in the eyes of an executive. Because then you can also come and say, okay, when you went to a website, where did you hear about, well, the only thing that comes to mind is Nike, but where did you hear about a brand? I just heard about it. I don't remember where I saw it. And everyone can kind of relate to that experience. That's why that bucket exists. And then I know that I miss a lot that comes from events, comes from LinkedIn.
All of it is affected by brand, right?
Exactly. And I know I lose the attribution in these buckets when I put it in here, but again, I don't really care, right? Like, because it's all mine anyway. Mine.
It's all hers. Dana, yes.
A short, specific question. For analyst reports, are they considered, when people download them from your website, you paid a lot for distribution rights, so do you attribute those to brand or to online?
So specifically, they're on LinkedIn, so they're attributed to LinkedIn because it's very clear. I don't have them gated on my website. But if I did,
You attribute them to online?
I would attribute them to online. Yes, because I would probably also, I'd see where that person came from. Like that's easier. I can see where they came from and then I would know, but it would probably be in online digital.
Even though it's an analyst resource?
Yes, this is more what people answer when, how did you hear about us? People write Gartner, analyst, like they when they literally like take the time to write that and remember it, that's when I put it in here. Because it's more about the briefings.
Okay. So the dark funnel for paid, it really is real. And this is sort of like what I was talking about earlier about channels bouncing off each other. Here you can see what happened with a client of ours when they invested heavily in LinkedIn for a month. And then when they stopped the investment, you could see the impact. When you look at Google, the same level of investment went down in Google, but they still managed to keep the brand searches very, very high. And that's because, again, the whole impact of they see you on Google, they write it down somewhere, and then they go back and search for you. So whenever the moral of the story is whenever you're thinking, oh, hold on a minute, is this LinkedIn campaign working? Have a look how it's impacting the traffic on your website. Have a look how it's impacting your conversion rates on your website. Have a look what happens when you turn it off. Is the impact there? So don't just take the one channel, measure the one channel and say, yay, nay, this is a success. Have a look what's happening on other channels when you're turning them on and off. And have a look at especially what's happening on the conversions on your website.
Can I add to that something?
Sure.
That feel very comfortable at the beginning when the only channel of distribution for us, or not even distribution of website visits, was from LinkedIn. That was basically the only thing that we did. So we knew that every demo request that comes into our website, even if I couldn't prove it, I knew that it was from LinkedIn because there was nowhere else someone would get to our website from. We didn't do PR, we had no channels. So we did attribute that to LinkedIn and proudly said, yes, all of this, it came from LinkedIn. So, I'm saying lean into this correlation because it really is real and it's fine. I think it's an education thing internally from the beginning to say this is the campaign we turned on and you'll see all the other stuff coming in, but show the correlation from the get-go.
Okay, running short on time, so we're going to just whiz by the next two. The big rocks. We all get pulled in marketing into a million different directions. And it's really important that at the beginning of 2024, you really set the big rocks that you want to achieve this year, this quarter, this half. and work accordingly. So if somebody comes in and say, hey, I need a really quick presentation, can you help me? You'll be like, well, that means that the big rock is going to be put aside. Actually, no. Or it might be, hey, I really need this quick presentation to help me with a demo that will help me achieve this big rock. Then obviously you put it aside. And it's really, really key to keeping your focus and to keep you grounded, because yes, marketing can be pulled into every single direction possible. Anything to add to this?
Yeah, I'll just say that we, I think yesterday, finalized our Big Rock calendar for 2024, something that we never really did as an entire marketing department. I think we each kind of in our teams had it. And we saw a lot of misalignment last year, and this time we really fixed it. And every time someone has, now everyone has like the same priorities. If someone comes in and says, hey, I need you to review this blog, it's connected to this campaign, everyone knows that that campaign is the top priority, and that's the blog that needs to be reviewed and not the 3 slides that whatever they're working on. So I already feel like it's different, kind of going back to our first bullet about creating the content now. So we know what content we want to create for the year. Everyone is working towards the same goal, and it's already more efficient than it was last year.
Okay, last slide. And last but not least, to all those naysayers that say that SEO is dying or dead or gone by, no, SEO is still our friend, our king. This is actually a snapshot of Envy's website. Many of you know that towards the end of last year, December last year, we changed our name from Marketing Envy to Envy. The SEO took a hit. And really steadily, by producing the right kind of content, by optimizing our website, by seeing what resonates with our audience, you can see like literally the growth until November. And you can also see, as I was seeing earlier, in October, we started with campaigns on Google and LinkedIn. And you can see the impact, so like also on organic. And this is really like that date that we started running. So please don't neglect your SEO. It's really, really key. Can't live without it right now. Maybe in the future, but not yet.
I don't have a lot to add to that. It's just true. We're not good at it. I admit that. We're now launching a new website, and we have SEO in focus. I admit it's not our strong suit, but it's true. I agree.
Amazing. Thank you very much. We've got like time for like one question. Yes.
Going back to your buckets, Maayan, where do you put organic?
Brand. If I really don't know, it's just brand. That's what it's about for me.
You know that it's organic search, you put it in brand?
Yes. Yes. For me, digital is my paid activity that I can really connect it to budget that I know that I spent. It can also go into online, but for me, it's not called digital; it's called paid digital. And it also at Pantera, it feeds a very specific team. We have a mid-market team, and we know that most of our paid digital work feeds that machine, and our CEO wants that machine to continue to be fed, and then you see the correlation. So that's also kind of why we do that.
Okay, Elad. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Billy and Maayan. All right, so